Okay guys, welcome to another Why I Love. Today's game is Attack of the Mutant Camels, or AMC as it was sometimes known as. This game, it was released in 1983 by Llamasoft and programmed by Mr. Hippie himself, Jeffrey Minter. It was released in other countries under different names. In fact, I'm sure Attack of the Mutant Camels, there was a version of the Revenge of the Mutant Camels, but it was called Attack of the Mutant Camels in the States. I've got no idea why they had to keep changing names. It was obviously some sort of licensing thing. Yeah, this was one of the very first games I ever got for the C64, and I have to say it was a copy. I didn't actually buy it at that point. Technically, it's probably a wee bit rough around the edges, and interestingly, somebody I put up a video of sort of some of the worst games ever, and somebody actually commented saying that this game would be could be a possible contender for one of the worst games ever. So it's just interesting how different people see different games in a different light. So anyway, enough of my waffle. Let's try and play the game. Now, it's been a long time since I've played this. I would always say that this game really requires a joystick. I mean, I'm playing this under emulation just because it's a lot easier to upload. Now, the idea being, you've basically got to shoot these camels who are sort of relentlessly marching. Ah, bollocks! That was a cheap shot. Yeah, you can see the camels if you look at the wee thing at the very top. The little radar thing, the camels are moving from left to right, and it's your job to basically stop them in their tracks. Now, the more camels you can kill without dying, each subsequent camel becomes worth more points. So this one is worth 200 points. Now, you may notice every fourth bullet you get a heat seeker. Making an arse of this. You can hear it making that little noise as well. It's one of these games, I mean, you first play it, you're absolutely all over the place. But what you want to try and do is what I'm attempting to do, and that's just to keep sitting behind it and nudging the and I'm not doing a very good job. Just stay behind the camel and basically shoot it up the arse. Now, you can only actually destroy the camel if you shoot it above. See where it's the grey ground. If you shoot it there, you'll not actually be hitting it. So you've got to make sure you're staying above the grey part of the screen. And you can see there the next camel is worth 400. I think that goes up to 1600. Now, you may have noticed I did get hit there. I'm being a total pigsy to this. I did get hit, and I think you can take a couple of hits per life. And the more you destroy the camel, he starts to flicker. Sorry, he changes colour. So he starts off as a yellow, and then he just kind of cycles through various colours. Now you get a little scene where you get to try and dodge missiles. Now it's actually harder. Oh, I think it's harder than it looks actually, that wee bit. Now, why do I love this game? I don't know, it's just the sound is bloody awful. Bloody awful, listen to me, sorry, I'm thinking about something else there. The sound is awesome, absolutely awesome. You know, you'd be hard pushed to get a better sounding blaster for the C64. Yep, the scrolling is abysmal. For a C64 game, the scrolling isn't good at all. It was released in the Atari 800, and it's got overall it's got much better graphics, but I just I don't know what it is. It's a lot harder, well, I find it a lot harder to play. Possibly if I actually put a bit of time in, I might actually. What you don't want to do is do what I'm doing there, constantly going in front of the camel. Now Jeff famously, well I'm saying famously like people would actually know, whoops a daisy. Jeff once described the camels in this game as looking like two guys on a pantomime horse. He did admit that he wasn't particularly good at graphics, and that's something that he's always admitted. And I've got to say that they do look rather odd camels, but you know what, they're absolutely effective and they do the job. But I'm really not doing that well at all at this game. You know, I would definitely recommend, if you're going to play this, get a proper joystick. Using a 360 analog stick just isn't as good. So you basically get 4, I say easy missiles, they don't actually home in on you. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the next one, there we go. Now these get faster and faster. So I'm up to 800 points now per camel, you can see it in the middle of the screen. So if you want to try and get good points, you want to try and not die. Now this bit gets faster. And it gets quite hypnotic. But aye, of all the games I had in the early days, this was probably, you know, it was probably the worst kind of looking game, and it had the worst scrolling, but there was just something about it I just thought was absolutely awesome. It's obviously based on the game released, I think it was by Parker Brothers for the Atari 2600. It was based on the Return of the Jedi? Empire Strikes Back. Whereas rather than camels, it was AT-ATs they were shooting. And again, Jeff does openly admit that that was the game that spawned this game. You just thought they looked like giant camels, which they did. And you can see obviously the closer you get to the camel, the faster you can fire. And you'll be glad to know it is. It's auto fire, so all you have to do is hold the fire button down. Now you can actually turn on collision detection with the camels, which makes it a hell of a lot harder. I'm too chicken to play with that option. So at the moment I can actually fly through the camels. That says you can enable it so that when you touch a camel you die. Oops, I thought I'd finished there. Now you can see this camel is worth 3,200 points. This is going to get hard. Oh, that was close. Almost lost it there. My finger slipped off the joystick. But as I was saying earlier, it's interesting how, you know, this is a game that I think it's a brilliant game. I played it to death back in the day, and even now it's rough round the edges, it's got crap scrolling, the graphics are bloody awful. Ah, bollocks. But it's a fantastic shooter. And for that reason I would 100% say it's one of my favourite C64 games, and yet somebody else described it as one of the worst games ever. Ah, damn it. Anyway, that's probably perfect timing. Oh, I don't know what's happened. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's perfect timing. That is Attack the Mutant Camels by Llamasoft, programmed by Jeff Minter, released in 1983. If you've not played the game, guys, you know you like what you see, go and check it out. It's a fantastic shooter. And as usual, guys, thank you very much for watching.